This is Alex Perez with TequilaAficionado.com with Mike Morales in New Mexico. Mike, good to see you. We're going to do a recap on the New Mexico International Intimate Tequila tasting that we just had, a week and a half ago?
Yeah, a little over a week.
July 22nd, 23rd.
Yes, sir. I thank you, Alex, and the 12 judges that went through hell and high water to really make history.
Well, you don't have to twist my arm to be in a room with some experts for 8.5 hours tasting tequila and sotol. But Mike, first of all, I want to congratulate you. I think it was a great event, and I think you did great. I know there was some little wrenches that were thrown in there in the mix, but I think it was a very successful event. Not only the kata that we had on Friday, but the showing that you had for the show on Saturday. So I congratulate you.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate your support. You and the other 11 judges who went through hell and high water to literally make history. As you know, I kept a lot of things secret from the judges. We made history twice. First of all, we were the first show in the United States to give an award for certified organic tequilas, which has never been done before in any shows in the United States. Secondly, we were the first show to give an award to have an actual kata or tasting between two sotols on American soil. And even though sotol has a history of a long history in New Mexico and Texas on American soil, it was the first time two sotol companies, two sotol producers actually faced each other in a kata against each other for the rights to a gold medal. And so this group of judges is very special. This show was very special because we were able to give gold medals and silver medals to not only organic tequilas, but also sotols, which has never been done before in any show in the United States. And I am completely indebted to you, the 11 other judges who were there, who, as I said, went through hell and high water to get this done. I can't say enough because I know that the situation was rough. There were a lot of things, a lot of small details that went wrong. In a show like this, there's a tendency to have things go wrong. There's a tendency to have things go right. And the beauty of the art of being an organizer is making sure that the audience, the people that show up at the grand tasting, don't know one way or the other what things went wrong and what things went right. And you guys made it happen. I am forever indebted to you, the judges, for really putting up with a lot of stuff. This was a hard fought kata tasting. There were a lot of amenities that were not available to you as judges that should have been and that could have been due to circumstances beyond our control. But for those of you that were there with us, sometimes when you make history, there's only a handful of people that are there to witness it. And that's what happened with this show. There was a handful of people, but you witnessed history and you were a part of it. And for that, I will be forever grateful to you and to the 11 other judges who were an integral part of this show. And I will never, ever forget that.
And I'm wearing my badge.
Oh, check you out.
No, it was memorable, Mike. It was truly memorable. And we had a great time doing it. We had a really good time doing it. And you know what? Regardless of what things were happening in the background, it all came together. And we're a big family. It all came together, and you guys made it happen. So it was fantastic.
As I said, the not only did we try to make it happen, but you folks, the judges were an integral part. This show really belongs to them, and it really belongs to you, and it belongs to the people of New Mexico who were there to witness it. It was a hard-fought battle. We did the best we could, but in the end, the people that were there that showed up as judges went above and beyond the call of duty. And if I had to go into battle with anybody, any 12 people that I could pick, it would be you guys, because of the history that was made, because of the importance that there was with this tasting. I cannot say enough about the courage and the fortitude that was exhibited by the judges and the people that showed up, because it's not my show anymore. It belongs to you guys, to you and Chris Milligan and Chris Maxwell and the Queen of Tequila and Mario and Bob Walter, all these people who were just
Good people.
so willing to give of themselves. And somewhere along the line, down the road, very shortly, I will be able to make it up to all of you. And I can't say enough about your dedication and what you went through to make it what it was, a historic moment.
I know I lived through it, so it was a great experience for me. But for the audience, when we're talking about this, let the audience know, how long were we together doing this, and what was the process? Because I have to give kudos to Core and Shell for their endurance also in helping put this together and leading the kata and the judging. But can you take us through this a little bit if you can?
Core and Shell Kaneinenberg they were original members of the Mexican Tequila Academy, and they now operate what is called the American Tequila Academy. And they had helped me 8 years ago doing the first kata in New Mexico, under the auspices and the rules and regulations of the Mexican Tequila Academy. I cannot say enough about how far they went to make this event, to make this kata, this tasting event, a success. They went above and beyond what is normal in an event like this, and they oversaw the pouring and the numbers and the calculations. And this was over 60 tequilas that you and the other judges tasted. And on an average, in other situations, this would probably have been a 2-day event, and this was a 1-day event for you guys, and this was very difficult. I know, having done one myself, where I on my first day I did 111, blancos. I know how difficult this was, and I cannot say enough about their supervision, their guidance, how they helped in every aspect more than they should have, and the calculations of the points as well. So they went above and beyond. I couldn't entrust this kind of a tasting to anyone other than those two. And it is really a testament to what we accomplished as a group with this tasting and this event. This was really the first event that has been done in the United States under the rules and regulations of the Mexican Tequila Academy, not a blanketed scoring situation where that is used for other spirits. This was exclusively for tequila only, and that's what's more important to me is that it was a protocol that we use that has already been in process for a long time, and that we used here in the United States on American soil to calculate scores and to award medals for tequilas that is unlike anything else in the United States, unlike any other show you may have heard of, any other shows in the past or the future that you may have heard of. We did it under the auspices and the rules and regulations of the Mexican Tequila Academy, and that makes me very proud. Plus the fact that we did it in New Mexico, which is the real home of the first exportation of tequila into the United States. So it was historic on two levels, and you guys were a part of it. You and the 12 other judges. Again, I can't say enough about all of you. I was so proud to empty your spit buckets.
It was a lot of spit too, by the way.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
We had to spit, or else we wouldn't have made it.
You guys can expel a lot of tequila. There's probably the most tequila you've never tasted, other than inhaled, but.
No, Mike, let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
You obviously we all got received the stats. Actually, what every judge scored on each one of the tequilas. What did you think of that once you started looking through those numbers?
Honestly, a lot of people in the past, when you compare maybe just apples to apples, it is not uncommon that people who are in this industry are not happy with the results that they see. And I can't stress enough how different this tasting was as opposed to the other tastings that you hear throughout the year from other from other shows in the U.S. And honestly, I can't say that I'm really surprised. When I spoke to some of the mixologists after it was all said and done, I spoke to some of the mixologists and they said, Reserva de la Familia, that doesn't surprise me. It's one of Cuervo's best. Corazon Tequila, one of the best. And I think whereas some people may have been surprised at the results, others would say, you know what? Maybe the decisions that were made for where Corazon's concerned, or where Cuervo's concerned, or where Herradura's concerned, are not that far off. Maybe it, at least if nothing else, it makes us look at how we as tequila aficionados, as maybe tequila snobs, look at results and go, maybe there's something to this. Now, granted, you're not going to make everybody happy. We realized that at the beginning. And I think everybody who was involved in these tastings realized that whatever the results were not going to please everybody. But the fact that we did it differently, the fact that we did it the way tequila should be graded, should account for something. And I think, for instance, where Corazon's concerned, as you know, Corazon Tequila has been moved to another distillery. Gemini Spirits.
No longer San Nicolas.
No longer San Nicolas. Gemini Spirits was involved in finding a new distillery. Maybe that means something. Maybe the person involved in that decision, which I can say truthfully probably is David Grafschi, who is a well-known judge and tequila expert in his own right, did the right thing. he found the right distillery to move that brand over to where the quality wasn't suffering. When you say, and I was, Ryan and I were at Jose Cuervo this winter, and again to taste Reserva de la Familia from the barrel at 55%, barrel strength in the cava, and to see how things are done at Jose Cuervo. Maybe there's something to that. I know that we as purists, we or snobs, we say, yeah, but that's Jose Cuervo. But you know what? Maybe they're doing something right. And if nothing else, it gives us a chance to look at what we've said before and say, maybe, just maybe, we give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe, just maybe, they are doing this the way tequila should be graded, the way tequila should be made. Granted, we all grew up with Especial, we all grew up with doing body shots and salt and lime, but by the same token, these are the same folks who are producing excellent tequilas. And
there's no surprise there.
Yeah, well,
there's no surprise there.
There was Herradura, for instance. Herradura was the first company to rest tequilas in whiskey barrels. They were the first ones to bring a reposado into the market. It only makes sense that the reposado would score so highly. And maybe not with everybody. Again, not everybody's going to... What I loved about the judges is they were so concerned about seeing what their paperwork said, their scores and grades, so that they can improve on themselves as well. So that in the future, when they do events like this, whether for our show or for other shows, for Tequila Aficionado or any other shows, that they improve on their scoring and how they, because it was so interesting, and I think you'll agree with me, that once you saw what your scores were, and then you saw the tequila brand owners who were there at the show, and you said, I love your tequila. Yet you may not have graded it highly during the cata, but once you've had it on its own, by itself, without any other tequilas that you had to compare it to, you were really impressed. And I think that in and of itself is very important for yourself, for the brands, for the judges, especially. And I can tell you that each and every one of those judges were willing to look at their scores and compare to other judges and go, where did I go wrong? Where can I improve? And what can I do better next time?
Well, it's definitely a learning experience for us. And I say we're all students. And I think everyone in that room, we're all students of the agave. I mean, that's what we're about. We're not tequila snobs. We're not Sotol snobs. I think you had the group there that really wants to learn from each other and continue to educate themselves on tequila, Sotol and mezcal. And that's what we're about. That's why we get along so well together, and we're able to get through something like this. And because we love it, it's a passion for us.
That was the bottom line, is that it wasn't just a my dream. It started off as my dream to do one more show in New Mexico after we had done 4 shows in a row, almost 10 years ago. At the end, after all the stuff, the superfluous stuff that you didn't need to know or need to go through, that it really became more than just my show. It became your show. It became your show and the 12 other judges involved. It was their show. It really belonged to them. And for that, I will always be indebted. And whatever happens in the future, whether we do another show in New Mexico or some other state, you and the other 11 judges will always have a seat at whatever future shows that we do, because I know that you know that the bottom line is it's all about the juice. It's all about the integrity for tequila, the integrity the stick-to-itiveness that you showed, the fortitude that you showed. It was 8.5 hours of tasting. Not to mention a couple of extra hours, the next day.
The following day. Yeah.
The following day.
It was a tough job.
Yeah, it was hard. It was very.
It was tough. It was tough.
Yeah,
we're serious. We were serious. I mean, anyone else might say, "Oh, you guys were having fun." No, we were serious about what we were doing. We had a job to do, and we stuck it out. We were there to do the job, and I think we did a great job.
You did a wonderful job. It cannot be compared to anything before or since, at least on American soil. And for that, I will always be proud. I will be proud of being the guy that put it together, but I will always be proud of knowing that you guys did it. You and the other 11 judges are part of history and will always be part of history. If there were a Hall of Fame about tequila, you guys would all be enshrined, in that. And that's not to say that won't ever happen. That will, I'm sure that will eventually happen. But I cannot say enough about the hard work and the really rustic, difficulty that you endured for that many hours. But also the fun that you had, because I know you guys had a lot of fun while I was in and out of that room. There was a lot of tweeting and Facebooking that went on, and there was a lot of fun and pictures, and even afterwards, a lot of folks may not be aware that we had a camera crew, a documentary crew, who was documenting what was going on.
It'll be interesting to see what they got on film.
Well, honestly, they came to our home, Denise and I, my wife Denise and I, they came to our home the next day after the show because they had not had a chance to be with us. They had a chance to interview all the judges, everybody involved, but they didn't have a chance to really be with us. And then we said, it's okay, come on over to the house, 9 o'clock, 9:30. And we were here till about 2 in the and they had a wonderful time. We did a flight of tequilas. I handed them cigars. They filmed, a lot of myself and Denise together. And I think they really, really got a gist, of what we as tequila aficionados, tequila fans, tequila teachers are all about. And if they weren't jazzed before they came to the show, they are really jazzed now. And I can't wait to see what they come up with for next year, for 2012, when hopefully they'll be at South by Southwest, at Sundance for their documentary. I hope the best for those two guys, because they really, I think they really captured the essence of why we were all there. Honestly, it's really, the bottom line is, it's all about the juice, period.
No, I agree with you. I think they were able to leave with what, with the sentiment of what this is all about. What tequila's about, what the tequila family's about, and what we were really trying to do there.
Yeah, they got a real sense of, ironically, I don't know if the audience knows, but one of the two guys who were involved in the documentary had been to one of our shows years ago, and was actually working in the hotel that we had held.
Oh, really?
Shows, yeah. And so from that time on, he said, I was a tequila fan. We don't know. We really don't know, as tequila aficionados, as tequila teachers, as as senseis or whatever you want to call us, we don't know whose life we're going to transform. 8 years ago, we transformed one guy's life. And because of what he's witnessed and what he experienced at a show that we did for fun, he was inspired enough to 8 years later, to do a documentary on.
That's something else.
That's what this is all about. You don't know what your interview is going to do to inspire someone else. You don't know what their filming will do to the future of tequila drinkers and imbibers and enjoyers of our beverage in the next 10, 20, 30 years. We don't know. All we can do is do what we do and hope that it influences somebody. And it will. It does. And hopefully, in the future next year, when these two gentlemen decide to, finish up what they started, that it will be something that will influence not just the tequila industry, that the industry will take a look at and pay attention to, that future imbibers will take a look at, but future tequila aficionados will look at and go, that changed my life. And from a simple spirit, there's a lot to be said about that. We don't know as people, as what we do, who we're going to influence. And it's very important now and in the future that we take a look at that and say that, to be responsible for that. Drinking responsibly has more to do than just drinking, while under the influence. It really is a lot more than that. And that's what I hope that our show and that you as judges, portrayed to the drinking public, that there's more to it than just a fun party drink. It is really something that is influential, not just now, but in the future.
And with that, Mike, thank you. Thanks for taking some time to do a little recap on the New Mexico International Intimate Tequila Tasting that we had for 2011. Took place July 22nd, 23rd, and what a privilege, true privilege it was to be a part of this historic event. You can find more information on what is it, NMIITT? Did I get that right? .com?
NMIITT.com.
As well as TequilaAficionado.com, and you can follow Mike on Facebook as well as Tequila Aficionado. And there's press releases going up all over the place, and you even have some of our guys that were there at the kata also blogging about it, like Chris Milligan wrote a great article on kind of a play-by-play on what was going on, which was beautiful. Thanks a lot for that. And until next year, what do you say?
Until next time, Alex. As you like to say, sip wisely.
Sip wisely. Thanks for listening.